Many a times I come into problem with different people. Not really problem. The issue is that often at times I come around people who are emotionally guided or driven when it comes to saying what you have to say or making debates. For me, I don't go into any debate to win. I go to share my own view. I go to the debate to learn from you, to try to wear your own shoes and see your explanation or your view from your own glass. But a wide majority of us do not carry this mentality where we are emotionally driven. We hold on to our view so tight, even where we don't have facts to back it up. With that said, there are some numbers of words, or would I say phrase, I would try for all of us to come together and review. Such phrase like in this generation, that is one. Another phrase is like mind your own business, that is two. And so many other comments you often hear people say. So let's talk about this generation. Okay, sometimes you see some things happening, and some people a majority will make the statement like, this generation, they are not compassionate enough. This generation, they are not kind enough. This generation, they are not loving enough, or this generation are driven by monetary gain. But sometimes I ask myself, this narrative or this idea for the generation you're talking about, did these people came to buy that idea by themselves? Did they bring it from birth? Was this idea of pursuing being selfish, was it inbuilt? Was it genetic? These are some questions you should ask yourself. Where did they get this idea from? Why is it the previous generation never adhered to that idea, but now this present generation, the wide majority of them are holding to this idea? Who, who are the people who taught this generation this? Or is it just a genetic mutation or growth? These are the questions you need to ask. And one reason you should know, like, everybody you see is a product of what he learned. I'm a product of what I'm learning. I'm a product of what I am going to unlearn, and I will be a product of what I accept. So when you hear people say this generation, one root cause for the generation or the present situation are the parenting or the parent of the previous generation. Did you play your role as a father? Did you play your role as a mother? Did you play your role as an auntie, a sister, an elder brother, a younger sister, a nephew, or a niece? What role did you play in the person's life? Did you play your role as a neighbor, staying close to one of your friends? Did you play a role as a friend? Did you play a role as an in-law? Did you play a role as a wife? Did you play a role as a husband? So why is it that we always shift the blame, like this generation, this generation? One thing I understand is we are having a lot of children now becoming fathers and mothers. Children that are not ripe enough to be fathers or mother are now giving birth. with the narrative of just taking care of their kids, taking them to school, getting them good clothes, getting them good shoes, and maybe taking them out, just making their kids happy. But those very young fathers and mothers leave the moral teaching or the moral mentorship for the government. And you know this government are certain people who are influenced by the elites. And these elites need the society that will continue to depend on their products, depend on what they produce, depend on what they sell. So now you do not have anything in you to pass on to your kids. All you think about is getting enough money, getting a good shoe for your kids, playing with your kids, but you yourself, you don't have the capacity, or you don't have the knowledge enough to really groom your own baby to be fit enough to face the society. Now you leave your baby for the social media to be trained. You leave your baby for the government to be trained. You leave your baby for the society to mold. So when we talk about this generation, I do not blame the generation. I blame the people who taught and who mold this so-called generation you and I are complaining about. And presently now we are in it. What can we do to change it? Are we continue going to be talking about it, or are we going to organize ourselves to find a change?